Blackout Tuesday happened this past week as part of the Black Lives Matter movement. And a lot of companies and a lot of different celebrities, influencers, those of status felt compelled to go ahead and participate. It was hastily prepared, as many publications put out, but they went ahead and did with it. And there was a lot of criticism behind it. So let's go to more of it. Vox.com reports, who are the black squares and the cutesy illustrations really for? So Instagram was the point of focus on this, and people really got into it. So after a weekend of unrest, many people posted black squares on their Instagrams, and you see a lot of people that are in here. After a few scrolls, this particular writer mentions that the black squares started coming from brands, companies that express similar sentiments on Black Lives Matter, expressing solidarity, if you will. Then you had celebrities, including one Real Housewife who days earlier had made headlines for writing All Lives Matter on the same platform. Now, again, we know that the idea was everybody was supposed to be staying muted from putting any posts out. And you can see some of the posts saying, but always learning and always listening. Now, the story was, it was a turn in discourse. In the wake of the George Floyd murder, worldwide protests that have erupted in days since, it's been largely critical of white silence on an election day, no less. But Blackout Tuesday was only one of more than a week's worth of what may have been criticized as dubious and unhelpful social media trends, ostensibly in the service of ending police brutality. And that's the point. What does this do? When you see people of status, of power, of influence, of privilege doing this, you got to ask yourself, when you see people out that are saying they're, we're with you, we're with your cause, what are they really doing with that? Because I don't see what it is. Now, if you've listened to any of my programming earlier this week on When I'm Not Podcasting, or if you listen to my Broadcasters podcast or my Wrestling is Real podcast, yours truly has talked about, it's not been, I do not dispute where we have systemic and institutional issues. But I don't believe that is all due to race. I think it's all due to status. And so I'm not going to go ahead and say what matters. What matters to me is everybody getting ahead. That's it. Even playing field. By even playing field, that doesn't mean somebody gets something and gets a handout. No. Even playing field means I want everybody to have the same chance to have opportunities. And that's dissuading anybody that I see that is an opportunist, which I don't have a problem with. I can respect people that are opportunists. Hey, if you can find a way to get through a hustle to get to where you want to be, then you do it. I'm not going to anybody for how they get to where they get to how they get. Because there are many different celebrities, many different stars, many different people that have found their way, stumbled into success, or just had a way to go and use nefarious means to go ahead and use it and make a difference. Listen, it all happens in mysterious ways. That's fine. Now, in the story, Feminista Jones, an author, speaker, and longtime organizer, noticed a trend and said the Black Lives Matter hashtag was being inundated with black squares. After digging into the source, she found the trend originating from two black women in the music industry, Jamila Thomas and Brianna Anjamain, I guess, who encouraged folks to spend the day reflecting on ways to support the black community. Again, we know how to support the black community. We know how to support communities that might not be privileged. And that does not mean the whole black community is, because that's the whole point. Those that are not being represented, we want proper representation. We want equal rights. We want equal speech. We want equal footing and status. And we deserve that if we are doing what we need to do to get ourselves ahead. If we are successful, we reinvest in the society we came from and give back to people so that others like us that went into the same situation as us can also get ahead. You pave the way. Don't they always talk about that when you're doing a career? When you become successful, you pave the way for others to get successful as well. That's what we heard about every pioneer of every different race, culture, creed, persuasion. It's always, who are the trendsetters? Who paves the way? He, she, or whichever pronoun you like. That's the point. So now, this was originally a reckoning of the music industry's long history of profiting off of black artists. But the problem that many saw decided to participate in the trend while adding the hashtag Black Lives Matter or BLM. And so here's what's going on. Jones says there were 11.9 million posts under the hashtag. Quote, it took 7 years to get 11.9 million posts. Within 7 hours, there were already a million more of them, mostly black boxes. So 12 million people on Instagram decided to go ahead and put black boxes up. What did that do? Again, some people just need to be thoughtful with common sense. And listen, I don't blame anybody to go ahead and follow a trend. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. Or maybe they just thought, I need to do this because of a particular reason. There's a particular agenda. There's a particular purpose that I do this for a reason. And sometimes it's not for a reason. It's because they're being told to, or they're being cajoled to. Because what's happening is there are other underlying forces that are causing people to do this. And it's really not helping at all. That's what's coming down to it. So when I look at this, feminist is right. Again, my point is, what's the use of it? What does it do? I don't see anybody saying anything. Now, the same thing goes with all these different platforms. I'm looking at different publications. I'm looking at Amazon Prime. I'm looking at Netflix. They're all putting, here's some recommended programming during this time of Black Lives Matter now in the headlines to be much more cognizant of black struggles, right? So do we understand that we probably had enough people actually probably tell us, if you've heard it, if you've heard one person tell you they struggled and their struggle with how things are with whatever it might be, I'm sure many people have probably heard maybe some people in the black community that have expressed what Black Lives Matter is said to be representing. We know that. But the truth is, it's a matter of what we're going to do about it. It's actual physical. Don't put money where your mouth is. Or, and here's the money where your mouth is. Let me put this point across. Why are celebrities only supporting the people being bailed out? Why are they only bailing out people? What does that do for any? And here's the thing. The people being bailed out, if you didn't realize, a lot of the people that are instigating the rioting and looting, are white. And they've been said to be anti-fascist, or there are people that are anarchists that are looking to go ahead and create rebellion and are propping up and basically just instigating and allowing opportunities to be made. Opportunists. And listen, if you have somebody that might be black, that might be part of the protests, that might get themselves involved into it, well, they're just taking the opportunity. But they're going to say, hey, I didn't break the window. I didn't smash the window open. Hey, the door was open. I just happened to get something to get out. And that's not everybody. Again, many, honestly, 99% of the protesters are protesting peacefully. And then you have the 1, 2, 3, 4% that are absolutely doing the problems that we're not seeing on mainstream media because it's being seen on social media. We're actually seeing that. Why aren't the people, instead of doing black cubes up there, why aren't you showing what's going on, the people that are actually getting affected? And don't just pigeonhole, just say, it's just the police, doing what they're doing. No, there's a lot of things going on. Show everything. Show everything. That's what it comes down to. Now, along with this, again, money where your mouth is. Now, I'm just going to make this point. Okay. Michael Jordan is putting out $100 million to social programs, right? Kanye West donates $2 million between 3 of the recent victims: Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and George Floyd. And George Floyd's daughter is getting a full ride tuition as a result from Kanye West. See, and they have quietly supported because they paved the way for themselves in their respective careers. That's how you do it. The ones that are celebrities that are saying, I'm going to go ahead and give $100,000 to bail out people. So when the situation is going on now, when it supports you, because you're making sure that, I did my part, so please watch my TV show on Quibi, or please make sure to go and buy my brand, or, if I'm influencing some new shoes or some new makeup, please go ahead and support me. Please, I supported you, but not at the right time. What are you going to do after all this is done? 2 weeks from now, If the whole situation subsides, and we might have a couple of things that might be accomplished as a result, what's really happening? The bailing out doesn't do jack shit. You're not helping at all doing that. How about actually putting back into the community, building businesses there? Why don't you build and actually create some programs where there are some nonprofit programs that, do something like that. And some might be doing something like that right now, but really don't take this as a photo op. Don't take this as some PR opportunity. Bullshit. I see those influencers coming out holding a sign. Let's just do this. All right. I love you, Kendall Jenner, but I know you're taking the opportunity. I know you are. And many others are. And you can just tell. TikTokers holding the fist sign on their icon. What is that going to do? Solidarity, let's be honest, solidarity, what does that really do for you if you're not really contributing? Just because you're protesting alongside, is that really going to do much? How much does it really change? If you have, if there are people that say they are privileged and their guilt because of their privilege, then, you don't need anybody telling you in the black community what to do. You don't need to be guilted because of your white privilege, right? What you should be doing is, if you really give a shit, then go to Congress, go to the courts, go to the civic leaders, go to the council meetings, and go support that way. If you're really going to do something. If you have money, support. Go to the black communities, buy from the businesses, patronize your fellow man. I do. That's not even a question. That's easy. So that's what it comes down to. You just don't get it. And I come from Miami, Palm Beach. Listen, we have a great community here. And the thing is, because we got a diverse black community, okay? We got an island community. We got Jamaicans, Haitians. We got Dominicans. We got Puerto Ricans. We got Cubans. And, of course, the American blacks. All in this community. We do pretty much fine. The Miami riots, there haven't been much of any. They've been just protests. But you know what? We're pretty much melting pot. We're all together. There's not a whole lot of segregation around us. When there's the rich, and then the everybody else. Okay? For me, I'm fine for the working man. I'm looking for status. I'm a nonconformist. My thing is, all you people are conforming, and you're not doing shit. Why? Don't conform. Don't just do because it's just go along to get along. That doesn't work. If you really mean something about supporting the black community against those that feel threatened and have been victimized and are traumatized by police brutality, then go to the Police Athletic League, go to the Benevolent Association, go to the unions, go and do, ruffle some feathers if that's what you think you need to do. But talk, debate, discourse, propose, put your part. Hey, if you want to do, you could be a volunteer citizen on patrol. Why don't you do that if you think it's so bad? Citizens on Patrol, there's programs like that all over the place. There's volunteers, there's explorers programs, all you young people. Are you really trying to go and help out? Show really how you help out, if that's what you really mean. Otherwise, leave it alone. And here exactly is what she says. And let me tell you, amen. She's absolutely right. This performative here, even put in a nicer font. There you go. This performative ally stuff is not helping. And this really catered to the people who want to show that they care. Again, show that they care. Performative ally shit, I will say, Feminista Jones. I know you're being courteous and professional about it. I'm going to say it's performative ally shit, because it is. Just call it what it is. And I'll tell you, this is what goes on. And the Vox continues to go on here and says, okay, black squares are far from the only performative social media meme happening right now. For years, people have showed solidarity sentiments in the form of illustrations or stylishly designed statements in trendy fonts, or by challenging each other to tag 10 people in their Instagram stories to show support for Black Lives Matter. That happened in 2016 as well, 2015. On the more egregious end, videos have circulated of influencers staging photo shoots in front of looted buildings or pretending to drill a hole in a boarded up storefront. And thank you very much. Well said. Bingo, you win a prize. Here you go. This is one lady. I saw this one all over the place in Santa Monica. She wanted to hold the drill for a picture. And then when you look at it, it's like, yep, she's doing the drilling thing. Oh, they can't play it. Ah, it sucks. Anyway, it's been a couple of days. So then you have the girl who played Brittany on Glee, Heather Morris, doing a TikTok dance for Black Lives Matter. Don't harm us. I'm shaking my head for those of you listening on audio. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Come on. Now, here's what's also being said. I love this Vox story. There are, to be sure, often conflicting narratives of how to be a good ally, which can lead to confusion and paralysis from even the most well-intentioned people. And I agree with that. I'm pretty sure there are those, they just, again, go along to get along. They don't actually know what they're doing. So it can lead to confusion and paralysis. As many times as someone is told that white silence is violence, they will also be told that they need to listen and make room for black voices. Okay, listen and make room. Why haven't you just done it already? You have to make room? There should already be room. What are you talking about? I'm not talking about feminista. I'm talking about the point of people that think this way. Performative allies. Man, I'm going to thump on this thing for as long as I can. Let me tell you what. Now, here's the other thing. They're told to confront their privilege, but also to decentralize themselves in their statements. So again, they're being disingenuous when you're doing that. Why do people want to go and see people bend the knee? It's as if, listen, police are doing it. It's kind of a PR spin. I can understand why they're doing that. Okay, I really can. But for some other people that are doing the knee, you know that, okay, they're doing it in front of you because they're scared, or they're just trying to go and save face, and they're just trying to be performative, right? Would they do that in front of anybody else? No. No, they wouldn't. Come on. Now, they hear that performative slacktivism is worse than nothing at all, but feel implicit pressure to share the same memes and images as everybody else who would like to think of themselves on the right side of history. After all, Blackout Tuesday originated with 2 black women fighting for the cause, so how could it be wrong? It got used. It got used. The Black Lives Matter movement, for whatever you think of it, it's also being used. And people are taking advantage of the situation. People are being had. The original intention of protesting against the murder of George Floyd is being propagandized, it's being manipulated, and is being used. Being used by your leaders, being used exceptionally by the media, and being used by celebrities and influencers and status seekers. That's all I got to say about that.